Welcome to Petty Details, where the crew gallivants down a tree-lined lane of conversation on all kinds of different subjects. Join the crew as they jump in the Wayback Machine in the quest for nuggets of knowledge. Our journey will allegedly drop some petty details on you that you didn't know you needed to know until now. Welcome to Petty Details, where we talk about the things you didn't know you needed to know until now. And today is one of those topics. And as you can see, we are down a person. Monica had
Yep.
I don't know, adult things to do, some kind of BS like that.
Whatever.
Yes. So it's just
A
me,
podcast is more important.
Right? Yeah.
Speaking with your friends.
It's at least more fun. I can say that.
Yeah.
All right. So Cam, you have a great shirt on today.
I have an idea. It's just a thought.
Not a fact. And I am wearing a new shirt today.
I haven't even seen it. I'm so ready.
You haven't seen it. So this one is from our Fatty Arbuckle episode. It is the Agile Donut.
Oh my gosh. Oh, he's perfect. Oh, I love him. We need to do you have a name for him? I forgot if we gave him a name.
I don't remember.
We need to leave in the comments what we should name the donut.
That's right. As always, subscribe.
Leave a like.
Yeah. We don't have the Wayback Machine right now.
Guess we'll just have to normal time travel. Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh.
I hate what it does to my hair.
For real. But today we are going to go in the Wayback Machine to the Civil War.
Oh, okay. Not what I was expecting. Oh, did we do the
Yeah. All right, so
we need those soundboards so bad.
We do.
We're running out of stuff.
Gary.
I'm gonna start like buying instruments and just picking them up from the side and just playing them for a second. Yeah.
Oh my God, please do that. That would be amazing. Love it. All right. So have you heard the one about the iron submarine that sank a ship in the Civil War?
No.
Well,
I'm going to be honest. I thought the Civil War was full land battle.
It was not. So this is not a joke. It is a real thing.
Okay.
So let's start with a little, and I mean a little submarine history. Like we are just surface on here. Yeah, brief.
Surface.
See what I did
submarine
there?
joke. Yeah.
Is it a submarine joke? I don't know. It is now, huh?
Yeah.
So submarines actually started swimming around in the 1620s.
What'd they make them out of?
They usually made them out of iron, I believe, but the first ones were made.
A concept of like industrialism is just really skewed because I think I thought that was way later.
Well, this is why we do this podcast, so that we can teach you things, Cam. Yeah. And other people, because I'm sure other people didn't know. I didn't know that submarines were running around in the 1600s. I just didn't. So there you go. But those were made by a Dutch inventor whose name I am not going to try and butcher.
Oh, come on.
I'm not going to do it. Then we fast forward to 1776.
Oh. Great year for a select few people.
For a select few people, yes.
Yeah.
And this was when the Bushnell turtle was invented. And this was a one-man submarine that you would kind of bicycle, and it would attach explosives to ships. Now, I don't believe it was...
Okay. Now, I don't think you're going to get this reference, but if anybody out there watched the Pokemon anime or cartoon, whatever you want to call it, as a kid, Team Rocket would pedal around in like a little underwater submarine. And
Okay.
so now I have a visual. So there you go. Okay.
There you
So
go.
the cartoons, they help. They help.
That's right. They're
I'm
not just all
picturing Team
crap.
Rocket bicycling on the little submarine
There you
thing.
go. Yeah. Now I don't believe that they were ever actually used in battle in the Revolutionary War, but they were around, so
Okay.
and being tested.
Okay.
So there are about 25 subs that are invented before the one that we're going to talk about today.
What?
Yeah, mind
So they were
blown.
just, yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, are they like improving on them or are they like,
Yeah, they're
they're just
improving
like
them.
making them?
No,
Okay.
they're
They're like,
improving on
okay,
them.
that's good.
I
Good,
mean,
good.
everybody's kind of got their own style
Mm-hmm.
version going on,
Right.
but they are, I mean, they're actually like swimming under the water. So,
That's, that's crazy.
mhm.
I'm wondering like navigation wise, but I don't know if we'll get to that, but like
We will.
how that evolved. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, sort of. I'm not going to talk about how it evolved, but you'll see how it's done. So, we, as always, are going to talk about our main players here. So, we've got this
Mm,
guy named Horace Lawson Hunley, and he is a dude with
okay.
big ideas. Okay. He's from
Big
Tennessee,
ideas.
big ideas. He's kind of like he's kind of like a Elon Musk, like he's got all these big ideas and a lot of money.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um but not quite that big of a dude.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's from Tennessee and he initially starts out as a lawyer and he ends up serving in the Louisiana state legislature. There
Okay.
we go.
Legislature.
There you go. Yeah,
Nice. Well, what did I mean, he was just like, were there any significant things he did? Because you don't hear too much coming from us, you know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not in Louisiana
That sounds
anyway.
about right.
Yeah.
He
He's
didn't do
probably
anything incredible.
well, yeah, not in
Or
Louisiana
Louisiana.
for Louisiana.
Yeah.
He's probably got some bridge named after him or something.
Oh, absolutely he does. Or like a swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he knows how to get things done, right? Like that's his thing. So in
Hmm.
April of 1861, we've got the start of the Civil War that saw the Confederates
Hmm.
fire on Fort Sumter in Charleston Harbor, which me and Monica have
Right.
actually been to.
Really?
Yeah, it was a really cool place when we went to Charleston.
Cool.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
by May of 1861, the North sets up a blockade in Charleston Harbor. And this is a
Okay.
bunch of ships sitting at the mouth of the harbor that's meant to cut off supplies to the south. Okay.
Right. All
But in
right.
1861, the South puts out this ad in the paper that basically says anyone who could build them a ship to break this blockade could make $50,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
In 1861 money?
Uh-huh. So it's a big deal, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So obviously
I'm
this
gonna start building a ship.
right? That's what our
Doing
old pal
tests with like
Horace
little
says.
tiny ship.
Exactly. So this piques the interest of good old Horace. So he recruits
Hmm.
a couple of engineers from New Orleans. Woo woo. James McClintock and Baxter Watson. And they're going to
Okay.
make a fish boat. That's what they're calling it.
Okay.
Okay. So they're
Like a
for
oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Not a fishing boat, a
No,
fish boat.
fish boat. Yeah. Because it swims like a fish, kind of. So their first
Yeah.
attempt is a 34-foot long by 4-foot
Oh,
wide and 4-foot tall thing called the Pioneer.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's made out of a boiler, like a water heater. You're
Okay.
basically in a big water heater.
This is sounding like did you hear about the Ocean Gate?
Yes.
Yeah, this is starting to sound that.
Yeah, it's kind of close to that.
Yeah.
Only it doesn't go down that
R.I.P.
far.
But right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep. Same kind of ideas. You know, where
Mm-hmm.
they just wanted to build something because it was cool and they could do it and they had a bunch of money
Right.
and they did.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, so these three guys are having
Mm-hmm.
slaves as test pilots of the Pioneer.
Oh, me forgetting we're in Civil War. I'm like,
Civil War.
what?
Yeah, no, they're in Civil
Also,
War.
Civil War, Louisiana. I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they are testing it in the Mississippi River in New Orleans,
Yeah.
as you do.
Right, right, right.
Right. Now, apparently on one of the tests, the pilots got it stuck in the mud.
Oof.
Yeah, and they ended up suffocating to death.
Oh my gosh.
hmm So this is crew number one.
That's crazy.
But this doesn't stop Hunley, McClintock, and Watson. They just lift it from the mud.
Well, no, they're not in danger. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
they don't
It's
care.
like, ugh,
Yeah, they're just going to clean out the dead pilots and they're going to do another test. Um,
horrible.
and testing is actually going pretty well until New Orleans starts to fall to the Union, and they couldn't take the Pioneer with them when they, boogied out of New Orleans. So they ended up,
As you do.
as you
When you
do.
leave New Orleans, you
You
boogie
boogie.
out.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they ended up scuttling it, which is basically sinking it. And
Mm,
they tried again.
okay.
So Hunley and the engineers head over to Mobile in Alabama. Whoop. I
Oh.
know. See, this has got all the ties. And they build the very inventive name, the Pioneer 2.
Oh my gosh. This is Xbox One. Xbox, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now it's just Xbox again.
Is it
What?
really?
I think so. I think it's just called X, or maybe it's Xbox X. I don't know, man. I don't own. I think the last one I owned was an Xbox 360.
Yeah,
So
well, the Xbox 360 name is
I
360
I
back to
made the move.
Xbox.
Yeah, I made the move to Nintendo Switch. So that's my console of choice currently.
Well, there you have it. There's the endorsement. Nintendo,
Yep.
sponsor us, bros. Come on.
Hey, I'll play games on the podcast.
That's
I'll do
right.
it.
I will write all the stories about them. All right. So the Pioneer 2, basically the same thing. Because it was
Mm.
working. I mean, except for the
Right.
one dead crew um,
Right.
in New Orleans. But the
Mm.
Pioneer 2 ends up sinking.
Oof.
So they try again. And this one they call the diver, but
Okay.
it also sinks. So those two were not great. So by this time, they've sunk three of the same design of the boat and they figure out this isn't working.
I'm wondering if they're not propelling. Like obviously there's some sort of movement, but I'm wondering if you don't propel, you're just gonna go down
Yeah,
because you're heavy.
I don't know. It's possible I didn't see a whole lot of information or dig deep
Mm.
enough on why they sank. I just know that they sank.
Yeah.
So they decide to move on to a bigger design that was about 40
Mm.
feet long and had room for 8 crew.
Okay.
And this is the one that they call the fishboat.
Okay.
Okay. So this fishboat is iron. It has keel weights that can be dropped for buoyancy.
Okay.
It has portals that could be covered.
Okay.
And you were asking about navigation. It has a tower where the captain could see out and steer it.
Is it like in the thing where it like comes up
Yeah,
over the water and it goes doot,
kind
doot,
of,
doot, doot, doot?
kind of.
Yeah.
It's more of a you stick your head into this thing,
Oh, okay.
like you stand up and you're looking out. Yeah,
Yeah, they're not using reflective.
not yet.
Okay.
No.
Not yet. Okay.
Um, so it's propelled by a long hand crank that the crew would sit on this bench and crank.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. This was not a
That's
fun
crazy.
time. This was work,
No.
right?
And I'm sure they're not switching out like, okay, I've done my 5 minutes. Like I'm sure they're all doing it constantly.
Yes.
Their poor arms.
Yes. They were probably buff
Sore. Oh
and
yeah.
sore.
Buff and sore.
Buff
As
and
you
sore.
usually are.
As you,
Buff and
yeah.
sore.
And it's lit by candlelight. So that's fun.
What? Okay.
Civil War.
You're
We
like,
don't. Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do, right?
I guess, because like, well, do they have they done like the kerosene lanterns yet? Like, has that been a
I
thing?
think so.
Because it obviously wouldn't work because like kerosene is highly flammable and if it blows up, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
don't
just
think
saying
it's
like,
kerosene. I think they were whale oil lamps at that point in time.
oh, okay, okay,
But they did have them
still
then.
flammable.
Still flammable. Yeah. Oh, not
Whereas
that
like
a candle
a
isn't.
candle, yeah, a candle wick is like,
Yeah, I think it's just
like if it
easier to put
drops on the
out, maybe.
floor, yeah, if it drops on the floor, it's not gonna light everything on fire. Whereas
Right.
like the whale oil gets everywhere, gets on everything, and that catches fire, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
Yeah. And then you're burning to death in a in a
you're
boiler.
bas you're bad. You're basically in a boiler.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yikes.
And there are only two exits on this sub. So there's one on either end, and they're only about 20 inches wide. I don't think I would fit through these
Oh,
exits.
I absolutely would not fit through these exits. Who are they
The
putting in here? Like I
midgets.
thought these were but I thought these were buff people, bruh.
Right?
They gotta
Yeah, they're
be
having to go
hand
and
cranking,
let them.
but they have to be small enough to fit through the hole.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
don't know. Like it's crazy to me, and it reminds me of we have this attic access,
Mm-hmm.
and it is
Mm-hmm.
so small that neither of us can get up in there. So we need to have like a
Send the
skin.
children.
Yeah, exactly. We need to have like a skinny guy go up there and cut out so that we can put in the stairs.
Right.
But what am I gonna do? Call all the contractors and be like, I need your thinnest man. So we
Hey,
haven't
Skinny Jim. Skinny Jim,
exactly.
I need your help. Yeah.
Exactly. So we haven't done it yet, but that's what this feels like to me. It's like
Well, I guess his name would be Slim Jim,
Slim.
probably.
Very
There you go.
nice. Yep, I like it. All right, so they are testing this fish boat, and it's doing really well.
Hmm.
They have even successfully sank a barge in Mobile Bay with it
What?
in their tests. Yeah.
Like an oh, it's just a test. Okay, I was gonna say, is it like an enemy barge? But no, they just okay.
Well, I mean, it is if they sink it, but yeah, yeah, no, it was just a test, but it's working, right?
Okay. Right.
And so they decide that they're going to take this thing up to Charleston to take on the blockade.
Hmm. Just the one?
Yeah, they just have the one.
Oh no.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. I mean, like, what are you gonna do, right? It's not a fleet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I
so
think I'd
the
start mass producing these things.
yeah, for real. So the plan is to arrive in Charleston and they're gonna sell this fish boat to the Confederates, right? Because that's what the thing said.
Right. Oh, I can there's definitely footnotes you should have read, I'm guaranteeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't quite work out the way that they plan. And this dude named General Beauregard,
Okay.
if that's not a Southern
That
general name,
sounds like the most Confederate
right?
general. Yeah.
Exactly. So General Beauregard seizes the fish boat and decides he's going to staff it with Confederate soldiers instead of the crew that Hunley and the engineers have been testing the sub with.
So no experience.
Yeah, randos.
That's crazy. And he
Mhm.
stole it from them.
And he stole it. Yeah.
He said, give me that."
Uh-huh. Mhm. Yeah. So now, obviously, this is a problem because Hunley's
Yeah,
crew actually knows how to work this thing.
exactly.
And McClintock, remember one of the engineers, tries to warn Beauregard that this isn't going to go well and that the sub is
Right.
not as easy to operate as it looks.
Yeah.
But Beauregard blows him off. So,
I'm wondering, I mean, probably because he was Confederate, but I'm wondering if there wasn't some because they were the crew, like the original crew, they were slaves, right?
right.
So I'm wondering if that probably is not like is one of the it might be one of the reasons that he didn't want them running the, you know
Possibly.
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
possible. But on the other hand, I'm like, if you don't know what this thing can do,
Right. You have literally no like you just took it from them. They're not gonna tell you how to run it because you
Right.
took it from them. So like they're like, good luck.
Yeah, pretty much. So
There's no manual on how
yeah,
to
we don't
step one through
know
three.
exactly. So we don't know why Beauregard blew them off, but he did. And McClintock leaves
That was
Charleston.
I that was just a
Just a
thought, not a
fact, not a
fact.
fact. That's right.
Whatever. Yeah.
And McClintock leaves Charleston basically in a huff. He's like, good luck, fuckers, I'm
Mm.
out. So he leaves, he
Right.
bounces. And McClintock was right. I know you're shocked by this.
Mm.
So,
What?
right. Oh my God. So the
Oh
first
my goodness.
test with Beauregard's new crew, water comes rushing into the sub. It's bad.
Mm-mm.
One guy is pinned by the hatch trying to get out. He gets sucked underwater.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. And he's trying to get out. He somehow is able to free himself and survives.
Holy crap.
And he goes around telling like newspapers later that he was the only one who went down with the sub and was able to get back up.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I would never, I think if I were him, I'd probably never go to water ever again.
Yeah, me either.
Because
Forget that.
you got your one chance with the water and that's it.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
don't take another chance.
So two other guys are able to get out of the sub as it's sinking to the bottom of the bay, but five men end up dying. And
Jeez.
surprisingly, the three surviving men wouldn't touch the sub with a 10-foot pole after that.
Well, duh.
Right.
They're like, y'all are crazy.
Not doing this. Yeah. So
Right.
now we know how word gets around, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
fish boat starts to be called the Iron Coffin by Confederate troops.
Oh, oh no. I guess, hey, call it like you see it, honestly.
Right. I mean, fair, right?
Yeah.
So Hunley goes back to Charleston, not knowing that his sub is currently sunk on the bottom of the bay.
Right.
But his plan is to try and get money from the Confederates for the sub. Well,
Okay.
he
They're
meets
like,
up,
hey,
right.
so
Beauregard's like,
funny thing that happened while you were away.
exactly, exactly. So Beauregard, who has to tell him that it's sunk, but
Mm-hmm.
Hunley's like, that's okay. We've gotten these off the bottom of the bay before. Hold my beer. And Beauregard is like,
Hold my beer. Hold my
ooh,
beer.
that's a southern thing, right? He's like,
1861's Hold My Beer.
exactly. And Beauregard's like, that's cool, but I'm kind of having a hard time finding people that even want to crew this fish boat.
Yeah,
So
we told you
Hunley,
that.
right. So Hunley tells Beauregard that if he gives him back the sub, that Hunley
Hmm.
will use a private crew to fight the Confederates. And Beauregard agrees, probably because he can't find anybody
Okay.
else to do it.
Right, right.
So Hunley's just doing this for the money, because remember, there's 50 grand on the line here.
Yeah.
So Hunley finds the fish boat, somehow gets it
Hmm.
back on shore. I don't know how. Um,
Has to clean out the bodies
only to have to
again.
clean out five bloated bodies.
Oh, oh no.
Oh no, it gets worse. You
Oh
haven't eaten
gosh.
dinner, have you?
No, not yet.
Oh,
Thank
good.
goodness.
Because
Well,
they,
I'll just try not to think about this later
there you go.
when I am
Uh,
eating supper.
so yeah, they have to be dismembered to get them out of the small hatches.
Oh yeah, because it's only 20 feet wide in
20
diameter.
inches, yeah. Mm-hmm.
20 inches. Yeah, sorry, not feet. 20 feet is crazy.
Yeah. So,
That's disgusting.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do
So,
they
but
gotta do? Like pull an arm out, chop it off? Like
pretty much,
what's
yeah.
happening? That's
Uh-huh. I
so
think
gross.
I
And
think
those
they
poor
actually had to
people.
get in to the sub to do
Oh
this.
no. Oh no.
Yeah. It it was a
Oh.
bad time.
I probably reeked. I think, oh gosh.
Oh yeah, because you know it's been
I
down there
can't
a
imagine.
while.
Yeah. Fish food.
Oh,
Gross.
can you imagine that job? That's the worst job in the world.
No. You can pay me the 50,000 to do that.
That's right.
I'd be like, keep it.
Yep, no thanks.
I'm going back home.
So by this time, it is 1863, and the fishboat's new crew shows up, and it's decided that Hunley is going to captain the sub himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's also decided that they are going to change the name from the fishboat to the H.L. Hunley
Okay. What's
after
HL?
Horace Lawson. Remember his
Oh,
first
okay.
name?
I
Mhm.
was like, I was trying to come up with something that was like something like a submarine, but no.
No, no, nothing to do with submarine. So the crew of 8 is going to do a demonstration in Charleston in the bay where
Okay.
they are going to charge a ship. They're going to dive under it and they're going to resurface on the other side.
Okay.
Except Hunley somehow messes this up, gets the sub buried in the mud at a 45-degree angle.
Ooh. He went
Yeah,
too low.
kind of. It turns out that Hunley, don't laugh. You're gonna laugh at this. It turns out that Hunley forgot to close this thing called a sea cock, and I am not making that up. That is what it's called.
Okay. No, I'm not. I'm mature. I'm not gonna laugh. I'm not. I won't do it.
So it's this
Peacock it is.
sea cock it is. So it's this valve that allows you to pump the water out of the forward ballast tank.
I'm sorry, it's hitting me
I
later.
know.
Because I'm thinking like I'm thinking of like you ever closed your seacock? Better be careful. You gotta close your seacock.
You gotta pump it up.
Oh no, not pump it up. Oh my God.
Oh, I was writing this and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this part. All right, so
Oh my God.
compose. Because because the sea cock is open, it allowed water to
Mm-hmm.
flood the main compartment where the crew was. So now
Mm-hmm.
6 guys drown right away. 2 of the guys,
Jeez.
including Hunley, were able to find a little pocket of air up by the hatch,
Mm-hmm.
except they couldn't open the hatch. So they end up dying of asphyxiation.
Yeah, because you've exhausted all of the oxygen in that little space. That's
Yeah.
wow. So they all perished.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So Hunley
crazy.
was killed by his own invention.
His own seacock.
His own seacock, yeah.
Flooded by your own seacock.
Oh,
Crazy. No.
that one you need to write down.
I kind of want a seacock shirt, but I don't know how that's gonna look.
Right? I'm like, I wouldn't wear it, but I think it's funny.
Right. Well, this is like C and then it's like the letter C, an asterisk, and then CK. You have to
There you
make
go.
up what needs to go there. Yeah.
Yeah. With the submarine in there somewhere, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And the submarine looks like a never mind. Like a like a like what
All
the
right.
second word is.
So we are going to carry on now. Oh, Monica's
Man, I
gonna
wish
be sad.
Monica was here. She would have got a kick. Yes.
She would have loved this
I'm
one.
like, oh, she would love this.
Yep. All right. So the Confederacy isn't about to let this sub stay on the bottom.
Mhm.
So they pull it from the bay yet again.
Oh my goodness. The job of having to remove these bloated dead bodies.
Dude, and this, I mean, how many times have they pulled a submarine from the bay at this point? It's been like 4 or 5 times, right?
Right.
It's ridiculous. Isn't this
It's
this is the
crazy.
third crew that's died, I think?
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. So they had to raise it out of 60 feet of water,
Oh my goodness.
and it had been at the bottom of the bay for weeks. Yeah.
Oh
So
no.
when they open it up, it's gross. Again.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah. How gross, do you ask? It takes 21 pounds of soap to clean it this time.
21 pounds of soap.
Yes.
Oh Y'all, I'd be bleaching that. There's no way. I'd be like, start just
Just yeah,
scrubbing
just
everything
leave
down.
it. Just leave it on the gross. Yeah.
It becomes a reef for the fish down
Yeah,
there. Like, just
exactly.
leave it.
Ugh.
It's better off as biodiversity. Just take it.
For real, please, please. So after this, Beauregard was quoted as saying the sub was more dangerous to those who use it than the enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
not wrong.
He did. I mean, facts are facts. And
Right.
that was just a thought and a fact,
That was
actually.
a thought and a fact, yes. But somehow, like, nobody is ready to give up on the sub. So this guy, George Dixon, who helped build
Hmm.
the now called Hunley, and just happened to serve under Beauregard earlier in the
Okay.
war, decided to go to Charleston and try and test it again.
Question. Are, because I know there's definitely probably, well, I mean, more than likely there's like double agents in this war and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
There were.
Have have Union soldiers not gotten wind of anything that's going on submarine wise, or
Not really. They know that
okay.
something is out there. Nobody has seen it, from what I understand.
A floating coffin.
Yeah.
A,
And
a
yeah,
sinking coffin,
exactly.
actually.
And I think the fact of the matter is that it wasn't really working at this point. So even if they
Yeah,
had
it's
heard
not
about it, they're
threatening.
like, "Psh, whatever." Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dumb idea.
Hmm.
Put a metal tube in the water.
Yeah. They're
What's
like,
gonna happen?
it's killing all their own soldiers. So go for it.
Yeah, yeah,
They're like, please
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, please keep going. Keep going with
Yeah,
that idea.
exactly. So,
Workshop it. Workshop it.
right.
Come back, meet us back in like 15 days.
Yeah, exactly. So, petty detail George Dixon carried a
Hmm.
solid gold coin with him that had saved his
Oh,
life earlier in the Battle of Shiloh. It had a dent in it where it had stopped a bullet.
oh,
Mm,
interesting.
yeah, cool. So Dixon gets
That's cool.
a new crew number
Hmm.
4, something. And you have to realize the time of the war this is. It's the middle of the
Okay.
war. Things are not going great for either side.
Hmm.
And the crew is told exactly what they are getting into.
Mm.
They're
They're
like,
like, hey, the last three.
yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, obviously, we know that this isn't a secret because they're calling it the Iron Coffin.
Right, right.
So they're told, hey, this is going to be dangerous. This is going to be long days. There's going to be lots of practice. But the crew is actually treated better than the average soldier at the time.
Okay.
And honestly,
And you
their
almost
chance,
have to, you
yeah,
kind of have
I
to.
mean, what else are you going to do? And honestly, their chances of dying were about the same as they had been if they were sent into battle. So he actually finds
Right.
people to sign up to do this. Yeah.
It's probably the people at the front line. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'd rather
Well,
take the submarine.
exactly, because they're getting fed more, they're,
Right,
sleeping in
right.
better accommodations, stuff like that. So
Hmm.
they're like, I might die anyway, but at least I'll have a
Right,
full
right,
belly.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So this new crew starts training and testing the sub, and they're doing pretty well. They, at this point, are even sneaking up on Union ships at night just to see if they'd be spotted. And by
Hmm.
February of 1864,
It's the I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by February of 1864, they've been training for months. And they have the Union
Mm.
boats kind of on edge because Union soldiers on these boats are reporting that they are seeing something in the water. They're
Oh God. See,
they're
that's kind of
saying it's like,
terrifying.
yeah, they're describing it kind of like a porpoise, like a
Yeah.
whale, something. They don't know what the hell it is.
There's the the animatronic jaws in the water.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, there's something in this water, and the commanders are totally blowing them off because they're like, it's a
Y'all are
dolphin or
crazy.
something.
Y'all
Yeah,
been at
just
sea too
stop.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on February 17th, the Hunley targets the Union ship called the Housatonic, which was part of the blockade that is still sitting at the mouth of Charleston Bay all these years later.
Okay.
And the Hunley is moving slowly towards the Housatonic, but again, the captain didn't believe that this was an actual threat. So he's not doing anything. And the crew saw the sub and reported that
Mm-hmm.
something was coming towards them.
Right.
Captain's just sitting there. He's like, shh, whatever, go back to bed. The Hunley gets close enough to fire upon the Housatonic, and they shoot a torpedo that has a
It has
hundred.
weapons?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. They
Oh
shoot a
wow.
torpedo that has 135 pounds of black powder.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. And it
That's
hits
crazy.
the Housatonic, and the ship starts to sink. They're still not quite understanding what has happened, though, because they don't know what hit them. They're like, "Oh my
Right.
God!"
They're
Like,
like, how did that whale break our ship? What's happening?
exactly, exactly. So they don't understand what the hell's going on. And another ship, another Union ship tries to come and help the men off the sinking ship, but 5 men will die
Mm,
from the Housatonic.
dang.
Yeah. The problem is the Hunley never resurfaces and nobody knows why.
Oh, okay.
They don't know where it
That's
is.
suspicious.
Yeah,
What? It Bermuda Triangled itself. Oh my gosh.
it's just gone.
That's that's crazy.
Yeah. So excuse me. So the Hunley
Mm.
sat on the bottom of Charleston Bay for 136 years.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
So it had sank.
It sank, yeah.
Wow.
And it sits there until this adventure novelist writer named
Mm,
Clive Cussler, who's also an
okay.
expert diver, he decides in the mid 90s that he wants to find this sub.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because he's like, it didn't just disappear. Like,
right, he's like,
yeah.
where the hell is it? Maybe people are thinking maybe it got like caught under the Housatonic and it's under there, or
Right.
it's stuck in the mud somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he puts this team together and they start scanning about 16 square miles of the bay around the Housatonic wreck, but they can't find it.
Hmm.
That is until May of 1995, when 1,000 feet away from the Housatonic, divers finally find the Hunley.
Oh wow.
But now the Navy, the state of South
Mm,
Carolina, and the state of Alabama are all fighting over the Hunley because they think that they're all entitled to the wreck.
dang. They're like, hey, that's ours.
Yeah.
No, it's
So
ours.
Cussler decides he's not going to tell anybody where this wreck is until all that gets worked out. He
Smart.
also wanted that whoever like took over the wreck had to
Hmm.
make sure that looters didn't get into the sub.
Right,
So
right.
he's trying to like protect it.
Hmm.
Well, it turns out that at the time that she sunk, she was a private vessel. So she was eventually turned over to the Naval Historical Center in Washington, D.C., because it was decided that she
Oh,
belonged to the U.S. government.
okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
So finally, in the year 2000, so 5 years after they found it,
Mm.
they are
Hmm.
finally able to bring the Hunley up. But they can't just lift the wreck easily off the bottom of the bay without breaking it apart. So they have
Right.
to make this cradle to bring her up that would be filled with foam to protect the sub, and then it was
Oh,
lifted. Pretty cool, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
It's
the
like a little baby.
Yeah. So the Hunley is now preserved and it's being studied at the old Charleston Naval Base.
Mm.
She's in this huge pool that is filled with sodium hydroxide, which will keep her from falling apart while she's studied. Because
That's
they're
good.
trying to figure out, like, why did she sink?
Right, right, right.
What happened? How did this thing work? Like they want to know all this stuff and they are still studying it, right?
Yeah. I'm
Um,
assuming they had to remove the skeletons from the, the-
yes.
yeah.
But so the problem is that this has taken years because they
Mm.
have to do it so slowly because it's actually like an archaeological thing, right?
Right. Right.
So when they pulled her up, she was so filled with sediment that they had to pull apart a couple of its plates from the hull to even get inside.
Oh my goodness.
And then they had to basically sift through this sediment.
Oh,
So you've got, because it was 40 feet
right.
long by however tall, because you've got these guys in it. So this is a lot of sediment.
Right. Right.
And
It's
they
just
have
filled through.
exactly, and they have to like, filter it out. So they end up finding buttons like from the clothing.
Mm-hmm.
They found wallets, they
Oh.
found clothing, and they found pipes from the crew.
Oh no.
Because
Not
they,
the
yeah, because
yeah, I
they have all
guess,
this
but
stuff,
like
right?
was there like a no smoking section, you think?
There was no,
Like in the corner, Jerry, you can go. There's no one smoking over there.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So finally, the bones of all the crew were found, and they were found in upright positions and still sitting at their posts,
Interesting.
right?
That's wow.
But like I
Okay.
said, we don't know what happened to her still.
Right.
But another petty detail, the mud
Okay.
had even kept some of the brains intact in the skull's crew or in the crew's
What?
skulls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
And the mud has actually preserved a lot of things. So
Mm.
they've been able to like pull out pieces of jackets and stuff like that they can identify, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And they have even reconstructed the faces of the crew from the skulls. And then they used,
Whoa.
yeah, because they're doing it like, the true crime people do.
Right, right.
Yeah. But then they used military records to find eye and hair color if it was available.
That's gotta look creepy. Like, hey,
It's
what
kind
do
of
you
cool.
like if you died 130 years ago, what did you think your bones would be used for? Not that.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't think they'd make a whole recreation of myself
Nope.
with my brain still intact in my skull.
Hmm.
You know? Not what was at the top of my bingo card, but you know.
No. So another petty detail, all of the crews that died in the Hunley are
Hmm.
buried in the same Magnolia Cemetery in Charleston.
Wow. Like
Hmm.
next to one another or just like
No, I think they're in
in
different sections. And
okay.
part of that is because the ones I believe that were dismembered
Mm-hmm.
had to be moved because they were under, I don't know, it was like a
Oh.
soccer field or something. And so they had to go and,
Oh,
yeah. So they had to like move them to the
that ooh,
cemetery.
yeah,
So it's not like they could put them in the same area. But
right.
yeah, they're all in the same
Yeah.
cemetery.
That's cool. That's
Hmm.
cool.
So you can go and check out the museum, which is called the Friends of the Hunley. It's in North Charleston,
Mm.
South Carolina. Or you can go look them up at hunley.com, and that's no, hunley.org. Sorry, it's Hunley. And at the museum, you can check out the creepy facial reconstructions of the crew.
I
Um,
can imagine.
yeah, you can look at some of the artifacts that have been found, and you can even try out a reconstruction of the crank that propelled the ship.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
fun.
Now you can't,
Interactive.
yeah, now you can't see the actual Hunley because that is um in the pool on the naval base and you need a security clearance to get in there.
Yep.
But you can see a lot of the artifacts and pictures of it and the stories and
Mm.
stuff like that.
Mm.
So, our last petty detail. Do you remember Dixon's solid gold coin that saved his life at the Battle of
Yes.
Shiloh? It was found on him when he was pulled out of the Hunley and is now displayed at the museum.
Wow. I wonder if he was like clutching it, like holding it, you
I don't
know?
know. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's wow.
So there you go. That is the story of the Civil War submarine, the Hunley, which I believe, and somebody's probably going to quote me if I'm wrong, or somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong, um, was the first submarine that actually took down a ship.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. And I think that,
Yeah,
like,
and so for such a long time ago too. That's interesting.
yeah, and I think the problem why it's not talked about more is because it's Confederate,
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
because nobody wants to go there. But
Give them a win. Yeah,
yeah,
probably. Yeah.
but I mean, it's a really
I mean,
cool piece of history and
yeah,
technology.
right. Even though, morally it's like, but you're like, at least they, gave something to society in that sense,
Right. And honestly,
give them credit on that.
yeah, and honestly, if the Union had offered Hunley $50,000, he probably
He would have
still would
built it
have
for
done it.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you
Like I
kidding
don't
me?
yeah, he was about the money. I don't think he really I mean, he was a
Yeah.
Southern man, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that he was
For $50,000?
yeah, I think he would have been on any side that wanted to pay him.
Right, right.
Yeah. So there you go. But it's I mean, it's a really cool piece of history that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't know about, and I think they should because
Yeah.
that's a hell of a thing
Mm-hmm.
to make this boiler blow up a ship.
Right. Have it fail so many times.
Well, that too, yeah.
But eventually,
But it did, I mean, it did
I
work.
mean, you have to think about other things that have been made that failed so many times for them to be good now,
Oh yeah,
So
exactly. So there you
pretty
go.
impressive.
That is the story of the Hunley, the H.L. Hunley.
Now I want a Subway sandwich.
That's what you get out of this.
uh
Uh, such a seacock.
oh my God.
So gonna start calling people that.
Oh my, hey, stop being such a seacock. That's
That's right.
crazy.
That's what I should name this episode: The Adventures of the Seacock.
Oh no. It's gonna get clicks for the wrong reasons.
Who cares if we get clicks, right?
Yep, yep, yep. We need to have a good thumbnail.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So there you go. Thanks, everybody. Stay petty, my friends. Bye.
Bye.